Hi, Sarah here. Welcome back. So today I'd like to share my planner system, or really just main planner, that I've had for the past many years, and the new planner system I am developing and trying to put together for the next year. Funnily enough, I've been planning and putting off filming this video for a while, but today I just happened to see Laura at Aquamarine18 post their own planner video. I haven't watched that one yet, but it inspired me to get off my butt and just really film this and get this out there. So to preview the planners I'm talking about. So my planner that I was using for at least a couple years has been a bullet journal. And the new planner system, two of the new planners or journals I'd like to use, we've got a stack of planners here. Actually, we've got this, we've got this, we've got this, and we've got this. Actually, this one is an ongoing one. So this one is ongoing from the past to the present and the future. But yeah, we are transitioning from this bit to this whole thing here. So let me share with you the bullet journal systems I was using and why I'm transitioning to planners instead. And just let me share with you all the stuff I'm learning on my planning, my journaling journey. So these are the two current planner / journal that I've been using for a long time. This is my everyday planner, my bullet journal basically, and this is a journaling type of journal, a brain dump type journal. So my bullet journal here, this is a Scribbles That Matter brand. I used to have a more regular sized notebook, but I transitioned to a smaller one for the past couple years because I was just compacting all of my planning into like a small journal. This notebook actually lasted me like a long time. This one actually started in like June 2022. So this has been going on for like a year and a half. If you're not aware of the difference between bullet journaling versus like planner, a bullet journal has a lot of customizability. So essentially, you're just buying like a blank notebook, which comes with blank pages like this. And so it's up to you if you want to draw or write out, like designate monthly pages, weekly pages, trackers, random brain dump pages. There's a lot of customizability that goes into creating a bullet journal. So I've been doing the system for at least 2 or 3 years. In these monthly pages, I used to have a title page. I used to have like a brain dump page. Here was my like monthly tasks. I used to try adding in extra pages like tarot affirmations, but as you can see, I just never really used these. A page I've always liked to have through my journaling, tracking, whatever, has been a page noting like the happenings, the happy things that happened that month. And this was my consistent weekly layout for the longest time. Basically, I would just cram a whole week into one page. And again, my life was relatively simple or straightforward enough that I just didn't need more. This was my consistent weekly layout for years at this point. And so this way you could fit like a whole month into just a couple of pages. Here is another kind of way that it evolved a little bit. I used to draw a little bit more here, but the essence of the stuff I kept month to month was still the same. Recently, I've been realizing that like some months, I just don't really use like the monthly layout, for example. I was starting to get bored of this weekly layout here. So here's an example of when like I just didn't really feel that motivated to keep up with this weekly layout anymore. After seeing some of the planners that my friends were using, I started realizing the benefits of having more space to write. I started getting tired of having just like 2 or 3 lines per day. Throughout my whole life, I've had this tendency to want to maximize like the use of something. Like the reason why I wanted a smaller compact journal or notebook was so that I can just have a smaller planner to carry around. And I wanted to really compact, really make the most use of the space. That's why I wanted to have like a whole week on one page instead of wasting like 7 pages for 7 days. But seeing my other friends have planners where they actually dedicate a whole page per day, that kind of made me realize that I also would like to have more space for me to write out anything in my day. I realized that because this space is so cramped, it makes me feel like I only want to write the most important things. But honestly, having a planner that is kind of like a journal, I would like to have more space to write down like maybe things I ate, maybe thoughts I have, things I want to look up later. It would honestly be kind of nice to have them written in like a daily log format instead of like a separate brain dump page like this. So here's an example of me trying to expand the weekly layout a little bit more. Here I didn't want to go as far as like doing one whole page per day because the number of pages in this notebook was limited. And I can see here that like when I have more space to write things, I honestly enjoyed this more. I enjoyed checking in with my planner throughout the day, or at the end of the day, and actually just writing down a log of the things that I did or the things that I ate. With this kind of layout, for example, it's easy for me to look back and feel like I really didn't do much that day, or like not much happened that day, or like what even happened that day. But now with this kind of layout, I can actually just see things that happen and I can actually log it down. I would like to be the person who writes things down. It's kind of a helpful mindfulness activity to be able to note down like the things that I did or the things that I thought about that day. One more feature of a bullet journal is being able to use pages either throughout the book or at the back of the notebook to do any lists of your own, just any list that you'd like. But I've kind of found that I don't really need or reference these pages at all. Like I've written them out, but I don't really update them or reference them at all. This one has been updated like months and months ago. I can't remember the last time I even looked at this. So I feel like for all of these reasons, the customizability of a bullet journal is great, but for an everyday planner sort of use, I need something that is just already pre-drawn. And that is where this book comes in. So this is the Hobonichi Techo, the original size. There's another size that is a cousin size, which is a bigger notebook size. I've got the original size. So I learned about this company or this planner for the first time this year when some of my tarot friends brought their own Hobonichi notebooks to our tarot meetups. There are a few different products and notebooks that this company carries. I opted to just go for a page per day planner. Essentially, there is a page per day. So here is the page, here's the page, and literally just page by page, that's how it goes. I also bought a separate a supplemental notebook so I can rip out pages and kind of insert them wherever I'd like. This also seems very handy for me. So I've written out the moon phases here for at least the first 3 months. I try to do moon readings. I never really keep up with them, but I like to keep trying to keep up with the moon phases. But yeah, so I still like the small size. I really like this time tracker feature, the time tracker function here. This seems helpful for me to try to write down how my day breakdown is, because sometimes I feel like I spend too much time on my phone or scrolling, or sometimes I feel like maybe I'm not spending enough time doing like leisurely activities. So I wonder if time tracking, whether occasionally, might help me keep track of my time or plan ahead my days. Kind of similar to my bullet journal, the Hobonichi also has a few extra pages in the back. So there's this timetable, some tracking stuff. I don't really know if I'm going to use these pages in the back. It's just not my habit to refer to pages in the back. I think the main part of this planner, literally just having a page per day and also this really nice thin paper, I think this is just going to be a perfect planner for me. So I'm very excited to use it. I also created a couple of extra cards to hopefully keep me on track. So this is like a weekly reset tasks. It's essentially just an outline of how I should properly set up for the upcoming week. I feel like writing them out like this, where I can visually see it and just go down the list, would be a big relief for my brain, because trying to keep these tasks in my brain every time, it gets hard. So I'm going to try to have this like repeating task list for me to do every week. It's really not that much, just 3 simple items. I also created like a monthly reset. I have found that there are some people online who they have really elaborate monthly resets, but I really need to have really, really simple resets, because if I try to add like a lot of tasks onto here, a lot of things to check, it's just going to make it really hard, And this is my quarterly reset every 3 months, basically. We'll see if these cards actually help me, but I think for now, visually, it'll be nice to just have this out on the table here while I just do my next reset, planning up the next week. So that is a quick glance at the planner I hope to use, the Hobonichi Techo. Ooh. I also want to share this new journal I created. It's the Yearly Collections Journal. To revisit the bullet journal, there are some pages that some people like to draw or write or keep track of every year. And for me, like I mentioned, I just don't really track or reference these pages in the back of the book. Even if these pages are in the middle of the book, I will never go back and flip through to reference certain pages. Like once it's past it, I never want to go back. I just want to keep going forward. So I was inspired to create this yearly collections bullet journal. So now all the pages and things that I want to keep track of throughout the year, now I can put this in a different bullet journal and just have this available for me. I will say before I get to it, I thought I was the kind of person who enjoys minimalist stuff. Like I never really decorated my stuff too much. I like to try to keep things very simple. But for this one, I actually put in a lot of effort into trying to make it pretty. It was just very therapeutic for me to plan out the spreads and to try to just make it pretty. But I will say right now, like if looking at colors or decorated journals like makes you feel bad about your own journal, please don't take that away from this video. Don't feel bad if your journal is like ugly or like minimal or lack of color. Again, my journals were more messy for a while, but for this one, because I only set it up once for the whole year, like I wanted to make it count. Anyway, just please don't feel bad about yourself is what I'm trying to say. And on that note, I actually wrote a reminder to myself here. I wrote, this journal is not meant to be perfect. It's meant to capture my ideas and preferences at this point in time. It is made pretty and visually pleasing because I enjoy putting time into artistic expression. And it's okay to change and add new pages in throughout the year. In the past, I have gotten like afraid to dirty things or be like, oh no, what if I don't like this later? I can't think about future me. I just need to think about what I like in the moment. And this is what I like in the moment. So all that preamble aside, this is my yearly collections journal, the pages for the year. So I've got my 2024 card of the year here. The card I drew is the Hierophant. This is from the Majestic Earth Tarot. I also drew cards for every quarter, every 3 months. I do plan on writing like little blurbs here, or maybe I'm going to procrastinate and just end up leaving those blank. Who knows? Who really cares? So here we've got the bucket list and the future tasks. I did realize they are very similar, so I'm not 100% sure how different they'll be when I get to this, but if I have to change this, so be it. Maybe I will. So I'd like to put some travel plans and, I don't know, project ideas in here. Future tasks might be like, I don't know, deep clean the bed or something. I don't really know. We'll get to there when we get to there. This one is cool. This one is 24 24s in 2024. So this is a list of 24 different categories that I'd like to track in the year 2024. If I were to do this again for the future, I might just stick with 20 items, 20 24s in 2024, but I already drew it before I thought of that. But I think this is a cool idea. In accordance with the saying, what you track is what you pay attention to, I felt like these are things that I would like to pay attention to and try to bring more of in my life. So we've got TV show seasons started and movies watched. These are important to me, especially because I work in entertainment and I still like to notice like the different tastes I have in media. Books read. We've got mood readings and journaling done. Here I'm actually trying to write down if I've done mood readings and journaling so I can see if I'm actually into it. We've got tarot videos made, video responses, and original content. Decks bought or received. Not that I plan on buying 24 decks. I am trying to slow down my buying and be a lot more intentional. But, you know, it's still nice to have a log of which decks I brought in that year. And so on and so forth. You can feel free to pause and read if you'd like, but I will just skip on ahead. So next we've got the savings tracker. I've got a few different savings accounts and I'd like to keep track of their amount at the beginning or the end of each month. Recurring money transfers. This is because I occasionally do like every Friday automatically send like a certain amount from my checking over to my savings. But I really need to write down what that amount is because I keep getting paranoid that I'm not going to have enough money in my account. Then we've got the months. Oh yes, by the way, like isn't this tab system cool? I ended up cutting out like this line here. So I did the same over here for these months. So all of these are actually just blank pages like so. My plan for these pages is I'm going to take, I guess, my happenings, my card of the month, just basically do a free for all on every month. The main thing that I know I like to have is just the happenings, a list of things that have happened that month. I'm just going to leave these pages free for all. So during each month, however I want to collage or write or decorate it, like hopefully I have a whole page for me to decorate how I'd like. Last couple of pages here, we've got then and again. So theoretically, January 1st, I'm going to write these answers here. December 31st, I'm going to write these answers. See how that changes, I guess. Then we've got a letter to myself. So I bought the stationery from Etsy from, let's see, I feel like it's Artful Geek Creations on Etsy. And essentially, I'm going to write myself a letter for the end of the year and just stick it in here. And as you can see, I've just added a little decoration on here for the funsies. Last couple of pages here, we've got a list of board games that I've played throughout the year. Hopefully I can keep track of like my wins and losses. I almost wonder if I'm going to have a lot more board games than can be written here, but we'll just add more pages. And a boba log because, like an Asian in California, I do drink a decent amount of boba. And I like to keep track of like which places I've tried because I never remember which places are good and not. And I also like to keep track of which drinks I've tried. Might be cool to do that. So yeah. And the theory behind a yearly collections journal is that now, like at the end of the year, I can just move right on to the next year, 2025, and just keep adding pages on through these sections here. So I feel like this is going to be really helpful for me. It's going to give me that bullet journal feel, that bullet journal itch, without me having to actually draw out every single week. I was really getting tired of having to draw out every single week in my bullet journal. So that's why I wanted a planner. I just needed something that was like pre-drawn for me. I just really didn't want that thinking. But I still like kind of bullet journaling a little bit, decorating, having pretty pages. So I'm excited to have these pages, these trackers. We'll see if this works out for me. I'd also like to mention this new notebook that I'm starting to keep track of. This is by Sissy Art Cafe, my favorite artist. So this is a long-term collections notebook. Essentially, it's a reference book, but made pretty. I really could use just any basic notebook, but who cares? I just like pretty things, right? So this is essentially like a list of things that I feel like I'm going to track or refer to for a long time. So one thing that I knew I wanted to write down was my body measurements, because sometimes buying clothes online or knitting or crocheting my own clothes, it's hard to remember what my measurements are, so that's that. I want to write my past makeup favorites. Sometimes I have some makeup that has already expired, but I don't want to throw it out yet because I want to remember what brand it is, so I want to repurchase it in the future. I just want to write it down so that I don't have to keep holding on to this trash that has already long expired. Got a list of my knit and crochet projects, and that's all I've got so far. I've also got a list of some promo codes. Not sure if this will be helpful or not, but that's my little reference book so far. I think it's going to be very cute and tiny and very helpful. Hopefully very helpful. And the last comparison I want to make is my journals, specifically my tarot journaling. So in addition to my regular mental processing, I would also journal about my tarot readings in here. So here's an example of a tarot reading I did recently. I used to have all of my, regular journaling and my tarot journaling in here. I felt like whether I have cards or not, it's all just self-reflection, right? So this is just my whole self-reflection journal. But my friend was kind enough to gift me a Hobonichi Techo day free planner. It's different from a regular planner because they have the dates on every page. This one just has blank pages. Yep, just blank pages. It's almost just like a regular notebook, but it does have these monthly spreads, month layouts, month pages. So I decided to try using it for tarot journaling because I think it would be nice to have all my tarot readings in a single journal. It would be easier to look back on it and refer to it. I think it might be nice to have tarot separate from my own reflection stuff, And this way I can even add pictures. I can just continue collaging in here. It's funny that in this journal, you can kind of see where I started getting a lot more into the sticker journaling and the collage. I don't really know if the rest of my journal is going to hold up. There's so many more pages. The binding is already like really starting to bend and I'm barely halfway through. So I feel like siphoning the tarot out into another journal, it might be really helpful. So as you can see, I already was inspired to do one tarot reading. So yeah, dude, this is really cool. I'm really happy that my friend thought of me and wanted to, share this day-free joy with me. So I'm excited to use this. I think this is going to be a really cool addition to my whole planner system. I feel like talking about this and hearing myself talk about this, it does seem like a lot of notebooks when maybe just one or two should do. But I honestly do feel like this notebook system, this planner system is going to work for me. I do try to be mindful of my own habits. I don't feel like I'm adding things extraneously just because. I really hope that this helps me compartmentalize my life and, just helps me organize my thoughts better so that my brain is not so overwhelmed and fragmented all the time. Hope you enjoyed watching. Let me know what planners you're using. I don't really plan on doing updates or flip throughs because my planners are for me really, but if there's anything I can do that you're interested in watching, let me know and I'll consider it. That is all I got for today. Thanks for watching. Bye.